All right, have and have not fans, here is another video. This one is actually going to be a mixture of theory, opinion, but also a possible way to improve the show. And this has to do with, again, a character I've talked about in blogs and videos alike. Veronica's mom should come to the series in the next season. Now, what would be the catalyst or the reason for Veronica's mother to finally show up? Because when you think about it, it was in season 2, back during the whole, Jim having his campaign office, and he and David would have a lot of meetings, so to speak, between the two, talking about the whole hit and run cover up, and just dealing with Candace when she got abducted by the Malones, things of that nature that occurred. Because again, during season 2, the campaign office was one of the main areas that we would see the characters interact at. Now, when it comes to Veronica's mom, it was mentioned by David that he had been calling, his mother-in-law a few times, and Jim was freaking out, saying that, whoa, you didn't tell her about what's going on, regarding the hit and run and cover up and whatnot. But David made it clear that, no, Jim, it wasn't about that. I was just saying that I'm having some problems with my marriage to Veronica. So we don't really know the extent of what problems he was referring to. Well, I mean, we know what problems he was going through, being the whole situation of Veronica exiling her son, so to speak, because he was gay. And just the friction that I guess you could say there's always been tension between Veronica and David, but Jeffrey was the reason those two split up even more. Again, not blaming Jeffrey, but it's just that they both took different stances on their son coming out of the closet. David pretty much loved his son regardless. Veronica pretty much thought it was some kind of phase that, he wasn't gay, that he's just going through something and he'll get past that. And if he doesn't, she's going to make him, get past it anyway. But we don't know much about Veronica's mom. We don't. All we know is that Veronica's father passed away. We know that Veronica's mom sued Veronica's dad. And because of that, Veronica's mom doesn't like Jim. We don't know the reason why he sued him. We just know that, according to Jim, he sued his we know that and Jim said, I sued the hell out of her husband. So again, we don't know the reasoning for, him suing Veronica's dad, or how much money he got from that, or hey, we just don't know. All we know is that there have been several times, and I believe one time even, when Veronica was going off on David, in her ice queen like fashion, not yelling, but, coldly speaking down to him. And when she left the office, David did his trademark and then got on the phone dialing a number, which again, we can assume was his mother-in-law. And I believe Veronica was going off about her suspicions about David and Maggie Day. Now, there have been another couple of times where Jim and David were talking. I believe one of the campaign workers came in and said, Mr. Harrington, you have a phone call? It could wait. It's your mother-in-law. Then he just got up in a hurry and left. So again, aside from those few phone calls, conversations that were unseen, we don't know the context of the call aside from marital issues. We haven't seen or heard anything in regards to Veronica's mother since. Another thing I wanted to bring up is, again, I'm just trying to piece together what we do know about Veronica's mom and how she might play a role in upcoming episodes. We know that Veronica came from the have-not lifestyle, but pretty much crawled her way to the have section of life. So in terms of Jim suing Veronica's dad, perhaps, when Veronica got older, maybe her family became richer. Or maybe, when she got herself cleaned up from her addiction, remember she was in rehab before she got out of rehab, started her own rehabilitation facility, and became a millionaire, so to speak, worth millions. So maybe she brought some tips to her parents because she went to law school. So there's no telling, she might have been able to help them out, when she was finding her own way. So in regards to, again, just harping back to the fact we don't know much about her father, what he did for a living and why Jim sued him, that again shows that perhaps as Veronica got older and more experienced in her career field, her parents became better off as well. And something else I wanted to bring up too about Veronica's mom, if the reason I think she might come to the series is obviously due to the car crash at the end of the finale. Veronica might be in like a, and again, I say this for, please, God, please do not let her be in a coma. I'm sick of these characters being in the hospital for like 5 to 7 episodes, or heck, maybe even half or a full season, just laying in a bed out of commission. I would rather it be that, Veronica is in like a near fatal state, close to death, but enough that, it makes her mom show up. And the reason I say near death, and you're probably thinking, wait, if Veronica's in an accident, wouldn't her mother just rush over to her bedside? Well, when you think about it, there have been plenty of times where I would have thought that Veronica's mom would have showed up. Case in point, Maggie Day, after she posted the pictures in the paper of Veronica Harrington and Benny Young on the front page and a marital scandal. And we didn't see David get a phone call from Veronica's mom just saying hey, son-in-law, I just wanted to check in with you because I saw, I didn't know, let's just say if either Veronica's mom didn't see a paper per se, but, with Veronica Harrington being, Veronica Harrington, you would think that would be one of the hottest topics of gossip within Savannah, Georgia. And, her mother's ears might have been burning and somebody would say, hey, I saw your child on the front page paper cheating on David. What do you know about this? So, again, I would have thought that something of that magnitude would have been something that would have reached the ears of Veronica's mom, and in return she would have called David just to see what's going on. And just things like that we don't know. And if I'm not mistaken, when I said Jennifer Salison arrested Jim, Catherine, David, and Veronica at the campaign, I thought that was either on live TV or the fact that there were photos in the paper, because remember, paparazzi and cameramen were there because remember, Jim was supposed to announce he was recalling his run for governor after the whole Celine thing on TV. But remember, as soon as they got off the stage, that's when Jennifer and the cops arrested him. So you would think, again, that would have been something that spurred her mother to come to visit to see what's going on. Then, of course, the whole situation where their house burnt down. Again, you would have thought her mother would have came in and, checked on her child and, son-in-law, just see how they were doing. And, I could just go on and on and on. Another one, if you want to go so far as to say that, remember that Veronica posted in the paper that Jeffrey and Melissa were about to become engaged, not to mention the coming of their child. So again, during the engagement dinner that Veronica arranged, where Melissa, Jeffrey, David, as well as Melissa's parents, remember her father was supposed to come to that too. But due to the whole situation of, I believe that's when, it was right. She was planning the dinner and everything, but it got canceled because of the fact that, Catherine made Veronica call Jennifer to come over to the house. That's where she got shot up and Veronica got stabbed. So that got canceled. So again, you would think that Veronica's mom would have showed up. Here's my thing. The fact that Veronica's trying so hard to get her son to not be gay and, make him straight and get him married to have a baby and whatnot, you would think that her mom would be a part of that. Or at least, Veronica would want her mother to be a part of that. But again, I don't know. Maybe because she knows that her mom might be more open to the fact that Jeffrey's gay, just like David. I don't know. I'm just saying that if Veronica's mom shows up, I would love that. But I just hope and again, this isn't me trying to tell Tyler Perry what to do, but I just feel that if Veronica's mom does show up, I hope there's viable reasons as to why she didn't show up earlier in the series. Remember how good it was when Randall's mom appeared in If Loving You Is Wrong? And it was great to have somebody on Marcy's side for a change, because it looks like everybody was against her. Randall cheating, then Alex with the baby and whatnot. And Marcy was pretty much in a corner by herself, but then Randall's mom came to her support. I really like that aspect of it. So I feel like Veronica's mom should show up and talk some sense to her daughter. Now, we've already talked about, again, why I feel Veronica's mom should show, the catalyst for Veronica's mom showing up being that her daughter might be in a near-death state or, fatal condition due to a car wreck. But now I want to talk about why it's important for Veronica's mom to show up. Number one, and again, this is me kind of assuming right here because we don't know much about Veronica's mother's character. We really don't. All we know in terms of character is that she doesn't like Jim due to the whole suing her husband situation. We don't know Veronica's relationship with her mother. We don't. I don't know. Maybe Veronica's mother is as nuts as she is. I don't know. We don't know. But I just hope if Veronica's mom shows up, she talks some sense into her daughter. I hope David's there as well to just again explain what's going on, because Veronica will just explain things, how everything's stacked up against her, how David cheated on her, how her son turned against her, and this and that, and blah 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 blah. But we need to talk about how Veronica needs to get her head on straight, because we need to know more about the backstory. That's another reason I want. And I've always said this, and I wish Tyler Perry would expand upon the characters we already have. That's what I felt was a weak point in the most recent season, the haves and the have-nots. It started off great. Like, I gave it praise during the first 2 or 3 episodes, but then it started to fall off because the whole Charles, and again, I don't think Charles is a bad character. I just don't see, I didn't even see a reason why the stakes had to go from, gangsters, judges, potential governor candidates, all the way to the White House. I just felt like the plot just went way too far out of left field, instead of building up and expanding on the characters we already have. Like, I love Mitch and Erica because, again, those characters are relatable because they grew up. Mitch and Benny have known each other for a few years. Erica and Candace knew each other for a few years from, their old, well, I believe Erica is Candace's bottom bitch from her, prostitution days. And Warlock, knew Benny and Candace and Hannah since he was a kid. So I love that connection and continuity. But when you have characters who just show up out of nowhere like Charles and whatnot, it just makes things way too, I know that it's TV, but let's put it this way. It just makes things way too unbelievable. You know what I mean? Now, I said the same thing about when Amanda got killed, because I thought, when she died and they had a funeral, oh wow, okay, it sucks that she's gone, but maybe during the whole funeral arc, if you will, preparing for the funeral, the actual funeral, and then the afterwards at the crier estate where everybody's comforting the family, perfect time to introduce some of Jim and Amanda's extended family. But we didn't see that. All we saw was the family, well, I guess you could say Catherine, Wyatt, and Jim, Jeffrey, David, and Veronica walking from the cemetery. They go back to the house, and we see rooms full of a house full of people, but we don't see any extended family. I'm just like, what the heck? That was really disappointing. And I feel the same way about like characters like Veronica and Hannah. We've heard mention of her sister who died because I believe she was a drug addict as well. We don't see anything. We haven't met her. Well, excuse me. Of course, we haven't met her because she's dead. But we only got a little bit of backstory on her. We've had mentionings of Candace's father, but we don't know who he is. We know who Tony is, but we haven't seen him in quite some time. And the list goes on from there. So I feel like that's one thing that Tyler Perry can do to make next season make up for the last season. Expand on the characters you already have established. Get some more of the backstory. Talk about some of the family. Because again, I can't harp on this enough. I talked about it. In season 1, I didn't like Jeffrey. Not because, and a lot of fans didn't. Not because he was gay, but the way he was like, just being a creeper on Wyatt, sabotaging his budding, I guess you could say, rekindled flame with his ex-girlfriend Laura, and just doing all this shady stuff. I didn't like that. But then at the beginning of season 2, after he came out the closet, his mom disowned him, and he was pretty much broken. But you felt bad for him. You legitimately felt bad for him. And then you start to like him as a character. So it's pretty much showing me that, in some cases, Tyler Perry has characters who are written to be disliked. But then once you see them go through hell and have their own character arc, and they become stronger as a result, you become, more in tune. You really like them more. So Veronica, let's put it, she's done a lot of dirty shit. Let's just be honest here. So I don't know if learning more about her backstory make me like her more, but I want us to get to understand her more because, again, I did a video a while back in regards to why has Veronica changed? Does it have something to do with drugs, medication? Is she mentally ill? We don't know this. Out of nowhere, she just started being more vindictive, a bad bitch, crazy, Jekyll and Hyde. Again, I just talk about the fact that, so many things were done wrong for Amanda's character, and then she got killed off. But then Tyler Perry started introducing more characters with personality defects, if you will, that are pretty much seemingly mentally ill. And Veronica was like the best one. I dare say she has been the best character written to have what seems to be mental disorders or, just random personality switches. I really do feel that way. But and again, I'm just kind of gathering my thoughts here. When it comes to Veronica's mom, again, I really want her to come into the picture. Maybe not be an instant fix. I don't want Veronica's mom to be introduced after all this time and then instantly fix everything with a wave of one. I just want her to get an understanding of what's going on, kind of observe the situation, and then help out where needed. Because I don't want everything to be resolved in one season, especially with the show ending in late 2019 or mid 2020. There is still time to do some good writing, get the characters together and get the story moving, and conclude some story. And again, there are so many unanswered, unresolved plot points, and that's why I really felt this season didn't do so well in terms of just killing off characters who still had unresolved plot points and storylines, but then introducing way too many way too big and crazy outlandish storylines like the whole Charles plot without dealing with the characters you already have. So if Veronica's mom does show up, I really hope that she's written well. And again, the question is, who should play Veronica's mom? I've seen people, and again, since season two, talk about Felicia Rashad. Somebody I think said Oprah Winfrey, or gosh, what is her name? Is it Jennifer Lewis? Yeah, Jennifer Lewis is a good choice, because again, it would make sense if you have Veronica's mom, somebody who's kind of, I wouldn't say mentally unbalanced, but somebody who has mood swings. But I guess mood swings would say emotionally unbalanced, but you know what I mean. I hope whoever plays Veronica's mom is great, because who knows? Maybe Veronica's mom treated Veronica like Veronica treated Jeffrey, in terms of treating him like a 2-year-old. I think that would be great, because again, it's not about liking Veronica more from learning more about her background. I feel like I want to get more understanding of who Veronica is, how she became the woman she is today. I mean, as a result, I might be able to like her more, but I feel like Jim, Catherine, I just want to learn more about their background, where they came from. I would really love that. So though these are just my thoughts on, in terms of Veronica's mom being introduced into the show. So wow, I mean, those are pretty much my thoughts there, because maybe if Veronica is in a near-death state, that especially, and again, I don't want her in a coma, but as I said before, it might be karma, because remember, she told Melissa, like, if you try to kill that baby again, or yourself, or harm my grandchild, I'm going to put you in like a near comatose state where you're still going to be alert to what's going on around you, but you won't be able to move. Veronica's probably in the same situation now after that car wreck, where she's going to be in a hospital bed and can't even move, but she's going to be aware of what's going on around her. Now, during that time frame, will she plan more vicious plots and revenge and whatnot, and more schemes than she ever has before? Or the fact that she's not able to move around, that might be a good time to reflect on a few things. I mean, I don't know. So these are just my thoughts. And again, I really can't wait to see what the comment section below has to say. But what do you think about Veronica's mom finally coming to the show? Again, it's not confirmed. This is just my thoughts and maybe speculation on it. So do you think her mom might be able to turn things around, help resolve things, or do you think she's as crazy as her daughter?